Hey there and welcome back to the channel. If you weren't already aware from some of my other videos, I'm a big SpongeBob fan. When I was little, it was my favourite show for years, and I still think the classic episodes leading up to the first movie is some of the best television out there. So naturally, I felt inclined to check the Patrick Star Show out as well. Admittedly, the first promo images dropped for the show, I really wasn't all that impressed by them. I thought it looked weird and that it was going to be a bad spin-off. After watching the first two segments, I actually didn't hate it. I found it to be kind of entertaining, which was a surprise as most comic relief characters in a lead role in a film or television series almost never works, as their character archetypes are best done in small doses and a support to the main. So, what made it different for Patrick Star? Well, first and foremost, it's the tone of the show. It's incredibly abstract, absurd, and open-ended. I think the opening scene where Patrick wakes up in his bedroom does this perfectly through the world building, visuals, and animations. Right from the first second, it's clear what kind of show you're going to be watching. The plots and these segments are very basic too. In the first one, Patrick is on a hunt for some food in the house, but can't seem to find any. In the second segment, Patrick and SpongeBob try to find a job. Again, a very basic premise. But I think that was the right thing. It's very obvious that the plot is in a secondary role to the random nature of the show. It often cuts away to different visuals and gags, and fair play, the different art styles and animation are really nice to look at and add so much depth to this show. In a similar manner, when the jokes land, they are really, really funny.
Relaxing morning fishing for a deadbeat. Gotcha! You're paying for your newspaper subscription today, Mr. Star. What the?
Would you look at that? I just made $6 in coupons from a magic floating newspaper.
Way to go, Dad!
Time to get ready.
Thanks for the ride in your stinky cab.
Your money makes this job tolerable.
Let's be taxi drivers!
Why take a taxi when you can ride with Patsy?
What's a patsy?
Your stop's coming up.
So, arrivals or departures?
Yes, sir.
You'll never get me, copper.
The character designs are very interesting too. It definitely breaks away from the lore of SpongeBob SquarePants, but I think that's good. His parents are different colour sea stars, and his grandfather is just a grouchy old man. The names of the parents changed to Cecil and Bunny as well. Not a change that I think was very necessary, but fair enough nonetheless. In terms of their characters, his parents and grandfather don't really stand out, to be honest. Apart from existing characters in the SpongeBob universe, I would argue Patrick's adopted sister, Squidina, is the only new character who feels fleshed out and real to me. Unlike the parents and grandpa, she doesn't feel like an absurd set piece or plot device. She is the producer of The Patrick Show and seems to care deeply about her job and her big brother as well. The pair have great chemistry, and she seems to humanise Patrick and make him seem like less of a buffoon. Back to existing characters. I think the show needs to be careful. As the title says, it's The Patrick Star Show.
Hi, I'm Patrick Star, and I live with my parents. This is my dad. This is my mom. This is my sister, Shy. This is my grandpa. This is my room. And this is my show.
Both these segments feature Squidward. Admittedly, he has less of a role in the first, but still. A cutaway gag features Plankton, and SpongeBob feels like a protagonist in the second segment. Going into the show, I wasn't sure if SpongeBob would feature or be referenced, but he's in the opening credits, which already feels like too much to me. Don't get me wrong, I love his new design, and I think seeing the teenage antics of him and Patrick is amazing, but it's still Patrick's show. The second segment, Bummer Jobs, could very easily have been a SpongeBob episode, that's how heavily he was involved alongside Patrick. That being said, I think spin-offs need callbacks and references to the original source material to help it work, but equally, I think the main character needs to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. I think it's important going forward that the show embrace Patrick and all the new characters a lot more. The episode structure is weird. As I said, they have a very bizarre and absurd approach, a lot more so than any SpongeBob episode. A lot of it seems to be fourth wall breaks, and I think the idea is that everything is being perceived in Patrick's head. That's the internal logic of the show, and how everything is perceived. You have to see it through his eyes. I'm not sure if it's just these two, but each episode seems to have a 2-minute sketch-like segment of something a character is watching on television. The Chum Bucket advert, for example, which was good, and seeing all the cutouts in the dining area was really funny as well. The episodes themselves kind of remind me of a more creative clip show, or the interdimensional cable segments from Rick and Morty. I personally think this show has potential, and I want to see where it goes in the future. As it stands, the 2 opening segments were interesting, but I did see a lot of people didn't like them. Here are some reviews I read. Out of respect for the authors, I'm going to leave names and locations of the posts blank. I understand that this is a separate show from SpongeBob, however, it took all the worst aspects from the original show and made it into its own. Patrick is the silly comic relief in a clever show. This is just stupid punchlines without the build-up, and nothing that happens makes any sense. Yes, it's a kids show, but kids aren't stupid, and that's why the smart writing, especially of early SpongeBob, worked so well. If this show came out without SpongeBob as its predecessor, I doubt it would last half a season. He's meant to be a sidekick to SpongeBob, so he can't really support a show by himself. I find the show rather uninteresting and slow. There are some positives to this show though. I like the designs of Cecil and Bunny, much more unique and fun than Herb and Margie from I'm With Stupid, who I often forget even existed, and the animation is still great. Besides, it's only Patrick's imagination, so none of this is canon. I think I'll just stick with the main SpongeBob show. The least I can say is, this is miles better than Camp Coral. So, if you haven't watched the show, I would suggest checking it out for yourself and forming your own opinion. However, if you have seen it already, then I would love to hear your opinions down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then please hit that like and subscribe. Stay close as I post new videos every single week.